Coming up on Rick Dancer TV, we're going to take you to one of my favorite places in the whole state of Oregon, over to Wallowa County, to a little town called Enterprise, Oregon. We're also going to introduce you to a woman named Peg Lynch. She is a pioneer in the early days of television, yes, even before Lucille Ball. And we're going to tell you about a bike ride coming up that's going to do a lot of great things for people. So that's all coming up next on Rick Dancer TV. I'm not dead. That sounds like something interesting. One of the really cool things we've worked on is a partnership between the University of Oregon's Archives and Special Collections Department and Rick Dancer TV. And what I love about this is we're able to bring you some of the old stories we worked on when I was at KUZI-TV. But in addition, we're also bringing you new stories. And we recently put together a piece on a woman named Peg Lynch. And the University of Oregon has all of her collection, and it's just sitting there and waiting for people to find out about it. So we get to tell you about that.
In the history books, she's a footnote, and she needs to be more than a footnote.
Her name is Peg Lynch. Lynch is the woman standing up to the right in this original copy of her television show. She
was a pioneer in television history. You know, she was there at a critical moment when television was blossoming.
Special Collections and University Archives at the University of Oregon is curator to the Peg Lynch collection. Kinescopes, original manuscripts, scripts, and letters, all opening the door to the earliest years of television history.
And then to discover that Peg is still living. She's 98 years old, still going strong. We were able to go meet with her and then to add material to the collection.
When I started, it was with David Gemling. Father bought the first National Bang Wonder radio station, so we put a lot of money in. It was very good. And I said, "Do you think I could get a job?" I was about 13, 14.
Peg Lynch was a radio and television star. She was actually one of the inventors of what we call the television sitcom. She worked in radio first, of course, and developed this show called Ethel and Albert. It started out as a 10-minute segment on the Kate Smith Evening Hour.
Of course, you've watched them and laughed with them. So I think now that we'll turn the evening over the next part of it.
What I find so remarkable about the shows is that the premise or the plot of the shows center on these domestic conflicts that really, I think, transcend time. Ethel and Albert predates I Love Lucy. Yeah, I guess Ethel and Albert stayed on TV until '56. But at a certain point in television history, there was a decision to do comedies, to do sitcoms in Southern California, in Hollywood.
Peg Lynch chose not to go to Hollywood, but to stay in New York.
She really wanted to raise her daughter back east, basically, instead of Hollywood.
By 1956, the television career was over.
Then she started to do a radio show called The Couple Next Door, but basically it was Ethel and Albert, just with different characters.
Life is about choices. Peg Lynch chose to keep the copyrights to her show, which is why it never ended up in syndication.
And she's just a fabulous person. You know, I love talking with her. She's got all these great stories. It's just exciting to talk to her. You know, it's like living history, basically. You ask her, what was it like working with Kate Smith? Or tell me your experiences meeting all these famous actors, movie celebrities who wanted to appear on TV, and they were terrified because they'd never done it before. Most Americans don't know anything about the show, and to me that's really a shame. You know, they really should know something about this early television history that's encapsulated in this show, Ethel and Albert. Her part in that hasn't really been written yet. So we really want researchers to come into special collections to use her collection and learn about this history and write about it. Once more people know about her work, she'll be situated more solidly in TV history. It's such a fascinating story, it needs to be told.
But what you guys do here in this building, it's pretty rich.
Oh, it's thrilling, really. I mean, I'm a natural-born reference librarian, so I love to help people find stuff and find stuff for people, and connecting people with information that they need or that they're excited about is deeply satisfying to me. And I'm really good at finding stuff and kind of tracking things down as a detective. So working in special collections where we have things that are truly unique, we have the only copy that exists of some of these things. And so it takes it to an even more, a deeper level, a more exciting level, because they have to come, people have to come to our physical space to use the materials. Most of it has not been digitized, so it's not available. They have to come here, they have to handle the physical item, whether it's a tiny little Oregon Trail diary written in pencil by somebody in 1849. We have that. And we had a 7-year-old boy here 2 weeks ago with his mother, whose perhaps great-grandfather came across on the Oregon Trail, and he got to look at that diary. And he came with his mom, and then 2 days later, they came back with more family members, and they're all gathered around the table looking at this amazing thing. So it's a time machine for people to be able to look at those things, to handle the things that have been handled by people over the centuries.
You and your family are invited to a 2-day party on the farm. Lockmead Dairy and Dairy Mart are celebrating 50 years of bringing you the freshest products in Western Oregon, and the Gibson family wants to show you a great time. Friday, July 31st and Saturday, August 1st from 10 to 4, we're inviting you to the farm. Our good friends at Thistledown off River Road are hosting our party nice and close to town. Games for the kids, stuff like gunny sack races and face painting, and sample our fresh products, even our ice cream. Even Coconut Bliss will be there. It's a weekend of fun you don't want to miss. Go to our Facebook page, Lockmead Family Farms, for more information. There is nothing like it, cycling, and we think we have just the ride to get you hooked. The Greater Eugene Area Riders, otherwise known as Gears, invite you to participate in the Blackberry Bramble. 4 different rides that show off Lane County's finest bike routes. There's a 100-mile ride that takes you out Wolf Creek, a 62-miler to Poodle Creek, a 20-miler for those getting started, and for the family, a 10-mile ride that'll give you a taste of the sport. The Blackberry Bramble is Sunday, August the 2nd. There's a dinner the night before to support the City of Eugene's adaptive recreation program. Some guy named Rick Dancer is speaking on the power of cycling, whoever he is. For more information, go to eugenegears.org/bramble. Oh, did I tell you about the party at the end of the ride? Blackberry pie, ice cream, music, and a swim in Amazon pool? We'll see you there. The woman you're about to meet, I did a story on her 22 years ago, and her name's Gloria Lopes, and she's a cattle rancher in Junction City. Her house sits up on this big hill. It's a big old log house. And back in the day, she was 67 back then, and she used to do everything on horseback. Well, now they round up the cattle with a quad, but she's 89 years old, and I talked to her on the phone the other day, and she's still going strong.
Sorry we missed you, but the sheep's in the meadow and the cow's in the corn. With a little luck, we'll be right back, so please leave your name and number. Thank you.
It's roundup time at the Glory Hill Ranch.
But we've had a good grass year. Our steers look big and fat. We'll see what they weigh.
Ranching is something Gloria Lopes has done most of her 67 years on this earth.
Look at my cute grandkids. There's Wade, got Wyatt, I've got my son. It's a family thing.
There's no hired help here, so it takes family and a few friends to round up the Lopes cattle.
I was raised where you did things yourself, you know, and the best help you can get is at the end of your arm, you know. So Johnny and I managed to do everything ourselves, and that's what makes it nice.
Raising cattle is not as easy as it used to be. Gloria has to take out a loan to pay for all of these animals. And when she sells them, they're not sold by the head, they're sold by the pound. So if several of the animals come in 50 pounds light, that can make a big difference in her profit margin.
Now I'm going to get the results today. And then if the results look rewarding, then you turn right around. In fact, I've already started again, buying more cattle, and you continue year after year. Part of not growing old is having something to do, never worrying about what you have to do, it's what you didn't get done. So you're just constantly changing, moving, going on.
Come on,
Gloria Lopes might not fit some people's image of the average cattle rancher, but this woman says she's salt of the earth. She knows what she's doing, and she loves it.
It's like you get a new beginning every year. I think that's probably what makes people want to be in the business with livestock or farming.
The best Mexican food in all of Western Oregon is Ranchito Grill in Springfield. I have not found one person that I've told to go there and they've gone and haven't loved it and said the same thing. Abe over there and Ruben do such a great job, and they work with Rick Dancer TV, and we are giving away every month 2 free dinners to anybody who puts their name in the hat, and we pull it out. So this month we pulled out the name, and it's Linda Anderson. And Linda, I have your phone number, I'll be getting a hold of you. But I'm not kidding you guys. If you haven't tried Ranchito Grill, you've got to try it. It's over on Mohawk. It's 1537 Mohawk Boulevard. It's right next to the McDonald's in Springfield. So run over there, try them. They're closed on Mondays. They always have a lunch special for $6.95. You cannot beat the food. Fresh, homemade tortillas. I mean, do I need to go on? And their margaritas. Ranchito Grill, and tell them that Rick Dancer sent you.
Slight contraction, roll up, and then control on the way down. Very good control.
So we just opened this in May. We have a lot of PT patients who go to the gym, they get injured, they come to us, we help them, they go back to the gym, they re-injure themselves. We are using this as a nice transition. We incorporate it into our PT treatment.
It helps me with my posture, and it helps me with my body, and when I'm doing other things, I do it more correctly than I would have.
Lay down into those abs and come back down.
People get hurt much, much less this way because they're doing things correctly, because they're being instructed very specifically how to do things correctly, engaging their core, using the best possible form they can with every movement. When people don't know how to use the machines correctly, even if they think they do, they're often using compensation patterns.
I was always really strong and able to muscle through everything. What I didn't know is that I was doing a lot of things with poor form.
Mid-back, very nice.
I didn't know that I was injuring myself, and I was, and I did, and I've been in PT for a while now.
So give me good posture.
Our sessions with the trainers are 60 minutes. 60 minutes is plenty of time to get a very substantial workout.
Between the trainers and the equipment that we have, it doesn't allow me to muscle through things anymore.
People come in and rehab from an injury and they go back to the gym and they don't know how to do things properly.
Weight training builds muscle. You also burn fat, lose weight, can help balance hormones.
It's not just about being a high-level athlete. It's just about being a functional person from young age to middle age to older age.
It improves your cardiovascular capacity, and it improves your overall energy and your health.
Being able to hike and being able to enjoy the kind of activities that you want to do throughout your life.
Besides all of these awesome weights, we have Coraline equipment, and between the weight training and using those other pieces of equipment, it changes lives. We are on the corner of East 11th and Ferry in the same building as the Oregon Community Credit Union. We have 5,500 square feet.
This we utilize for some of our physical therapy clients, but it's also for people who aren't clients of ours and currently and aren't going through physical therapy. Anybody in the public can come in here and work with one of our personal trainers.
So it's just one more way for us to help you to get back to living the life you love.
Good job. Thanks.
I had my first drink when I was 7 years old, and I sporadically used it until I was older and could get a constant supply. I had no future. I mean, all I was laying there is I was drinking until I passed out. I was drinking for oblivion. I didn't want to come to again.
People can walk in when they are ready, and we're here. We're ready to get them plugged into the services that they do need. And it's not just about only substance abuse or mental health or primary care. We have all these services at one place, one location.
I noticed it had elevated quite a bit by the time the end of the group.
Here at the Rapid Access Center, we have primary medical care, we have behavioral health, mental health services, and we have substance abuse treatment along with case management and peer support. But really what I think that it boils down to for people is it gives them hope. They're given that little glimmer, that little piece that, you know what, maybe there is a different way of life and I can do this too.
I ended up, by the grace of God, going through Willamette Family, through their detox and also their in-house patient. And as a result of a lot of help from the counselors there, the staff there, the nurse practitioner, and a therapist, I now stand here before you sober and happy. I believe I'm becoming the man that I was originally created to be. Hope is the big thing. I know it says health, wellness, and recovery, but if I could rewrite it, it would be hope, health, wellness, and recovery.
You know how sometimes you don't know what you want to eat, but you know you don't want to cook at home, and you don't want to sit in a restaurant either and have dinner, but you want them to cook it for you? That's where HungryDucks.com comes in handy. Darren is a great guy. This is 100% locally owned. They have supreme technology that the newest thing you can do now is you can actually track your order online after you ordered it. The average delivery time is only 32 minutes. They have access to 40 different restaurants right now with tons of different cuisine. It's HungryDuck.com. All you got to do is go to their website and you can order from any of these restaurants in town and they'll deliver it to you. Also, if you go to the website, they have deals on there, coupons and deals that you can only find on the website. So don't forget, it's Darren at HungryDucks.com. We couldn't do what we do without partnerships with local newspapers and media sources. Springfield Times, Creswell Chronicle, great paper, still have enormous value in their communities. In fact, I get them delivered to my house. You should too. I live in Springfield, I don't live in Creswell, but I want to know what's going on down there as well. And these are still old-fashioned journalism where they're really covering stories in towns and reports. And I like that. So we support them and they support us. Also, McKinsey River Reflections. They do a lot of good work up the McKinsey. I live up that way, keep you informed on some of the things going on in the community. So check out those different papers. Just because you live in Eugene doesn't mean you can't get a paper from another area. And it really is old-fashioned reporting the way we used to do it.
I want people to know that this is a dirty secret in society and that it's happening every day. It's happening to your friends, it's happening to your neighbors. We can't call the police and say, oh, someone just called me a fat pig.
Janet Sinelli looks forward to getting ready each morning. That hasn't always been the case.
One of the worst things he said to me is, you are purposefully getting fat so that I would not be attracted to you, and you know how I feel about fat people.
Janet says her abuser told her what to wear, how to do her hair, and controlled her emotionally.
I start changing my behavior to accommodate that person.
She says his game is to make her feel like she is crazy, and sometimes it worked.
I was an idiot, a fat pig, white trash, keep my knees together in case my feminine odor is obnoxious. Breath mints, I dress in things that I know wouldn't cause any reaction. I lost custody of my son. Prior to that, we had joint custody.
Because Janet's scars are not visible, some don't believe her.
How could this possibly happen to you? And of course you're to blame. Look, they took your child away from you. It had to be you. What kind of court would do that? Mothers always get their children. They're favored. So, it must be you. Wore me down completely. I literally recoiled and went away.
At Women's Space, Janet discovers there are people who understand, who can help, and who listen, and who will offer the kind of support that changes your life.
Can't wait to go through my closet and pull out all the things that I had in my closet during our relationship and start wearing them. They're all lots of colors, wild things, and that's me. I have wild taste. I absolutely hated pink.
Janet is no longer with her abuser. She has a new life, a career that she loves.
I'm a staff nurse and I work per diem. Hi, how you doing, Marie? How's your pain this morning? How are you feeling? If you could just sit up for me, if it's not too painful. This job is a fulfillment of my dream since I was in the 7th grade.
Janet says she is a fixer, and abusers often play on that. She still loves to help people, but understands the difference.
And now I get to fix my patients, or at least put them on the path where they can help themselves and take better care of themselves and have different realizations that they matter. What they say matters.
Right there.
Hi, how are you?
It's kind of a rebirth, a re-coming out and finding myself, because I married at age 21 and I buried all that from the very beginning. If I can alert one person that this is going on and it's okay to say something, and it's not just okay, but you have a duty to say something, because 1 in 4 women are abused, and we have no scars from emotional abuse, none. That's why the family is very concerned. Break the silence, share it to everybody you know, because someone out there is not able to speak for themselves or speak up. Become their mentor and just help them. Hello? Help them know it's okay and get them to Women's Space, because there's so much knowledge and information and educational materials. It'll blow you away.
Okay, now it's time to get an Oregon destination in. We're going to go to Enterprise, Oregon, little town way over in the northeast section of Oregon. A lot of people have never been there, and if you haven't and you still have time this fall, make plans and get over to Enterprise. Watch, this is why. If every county needs a biggest town, in northeastern Oregon, this is it. Enterprise. Not only is it the largest town of Wallowa County, it's the place with the most history, and people are trying to save every bit of it.
Enterprise is a wonderfully intact historic town.
In the late 1800s,
Enterprise at that point was nothing but a plat map.
Developers convinced those plotting the map to give them some land and create what is today Enterprise. Jack McLaren's watched builders cut the quarried Bowlby stone to construct the centerpiece of town, the county courthouse.
The real strong voice in Enterprise is they want to protect what they have in an authentic way.
The old buildings, many made of the same stone, line the streets today. Enterprise is consistent. 2002 people live here.
That population of 2002 has stayed consistent, relatively consistent, since the 1920s.
When you move to Enterprise, bring the job with you.
People want to come to Wallowa County, but there's nothing to do. There's no industry. Art, government, farming, ranching, that's pretty much it.
Folks in this part of the state are feeling pressure to grow. As Central Oregon gets more crowded, explorers venture northeast to find this place. People here are afraid of growth, though, aren't they?
I think so.
You don't want to become Ben.
No. At the same time, we're also concerned about our economic future.
So they plan carefully, resisting the temptation to recreate.
Protecting what we have, not trying to become something we're not.
Earl McLaughlin understands the balance between preservation and recreation. He lives a few miles outside of Enterprise.
This is my workshop, my area where I do the restorations.
When weather permits, Earl farms cereal grain.
From basically the 1st of November till the 1st of April, you know, there's not much going on the farm with no livestock.
To fill his time, in 1983 he bought his first tractor.
I just have an intense desire to collect some of the old farm implements and try to preserve some of our heritage.
33 tractors later.
Well, I've probably got 3 or 4 buildings that are pretty full of stuff, you know.
His obsession includes more than tractors.
Well, it's part of our heritage, you know. It's part of the foundations of this country, the agri industry.
His tractor restorations are impeccable. But for some of his collection, authenticity requires a fair amount of rust and moss.
It took 130 years for it to get on there, and in a couple days you could take it off. Yeah, and it just makes the stuff look natural. Yeah.
Farmers are his detectives. They hear about an old piece of equipment and give him a call. Sometimes Wallowa County seems so close.
Okay, now this shows you what a small world we live in. I'm in Enterprise, Oregon, in the northeast of Oregon, talking to a farmer I've never met before. He tells me he bought this tractor right here from my neighbor in Camp Creek in Springfield from Bobby Fisher.
There's something about Earl and those trying to preserve the history of Enterprise, Oregon that truly matters. Sometimes we think we have to save the world to make an impact, but you don't. You find the thing that makes you come alive and you do it. Whether it's saving a tractor or an old building in Enterprise, history will repeat itself. Wouldn't it be nice if it had an old friend to return home to? Well, that's it for this edition of Rick Dancer TV. You know, I've been watching a lot of talk on Facebook and on social media, and I think everybody is just really tired of people trying to tell each other what they have to think and what they have to believe. What if we just went back to letting people have their opinion and not getting so, oh, what is it? Antagonistic? Maybe it's a bit of arrogance where we think for sure that we have to be right. We don't understand why other people perceive things the way they do, but you know what? If you look in the mirror, there's a lot of people who probably don't get you either. So just chill out a little bit, and when you go on, listen to people. You know, and one of the things I always tell kids when I go to schools and speak is, if you're thinking of the next thing you're gonna say while you're having a conversation with somebody, you ain't listening. So close your mouth and your ears open up, and all of a sudden you start hearing why people think what they think. And you know what you might find? That you really aren't as right and correct as you think you are. And you may sound a lot like the people you don't really like listening to. So chill out. Have a good week. We'll see you next week on Rick Dancer TV. I'll get off my soapbox. One last thing I want to remind you about is Rick Dancer Media Services. We do a lot of things, everything from social media to videos for YouTube, videos for our show, videos for your website. We can produce a show from your location. Give us a call, we're really reasonable, and we want to get the message out and help you. And so give me a call, my phone number is right there on the screen, or go to my website, rickdancer.com or rickdancer.tv, and let me know what we can do for you, and let's chat.